media is saying versus what they're saying.
Yeah.
It is two entirely different stories.
Well, there are two entirely different COAs, like courses of operations that you're going to do depending on what's happening in the moment, right? So a shooter goes into a school and shoots for a little while. If it's an active shooter, that is a rule set where rules are out the window. Mm-hmm. Like as soon as Dan and I, we high five?
Yeah.
Boom. Cool, let's go in. That's
Kill
it.
that
That's all. That
like
is it.
The rule is for...
That's for an active shooter.
For federal law enforcement and for local law enforcement, it is to enter and kill that person at the earliest opportunity.
Immediately.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
as soon as you can get a fire team together, which is 2 people.
Not but 50 miles south of here, Alert, which is the advanced law enforcement. Mm-hmm. It's like their active shooter training course is just south of us. And like their TTPs are very straightforward, active shooter go. What the confusion was if there was hostages.
Correct.
So with hostages, you have a totally different approach. If there are hostages and you go with a not synchronized entry, the hostage taker will kill all of his hostages, and he can do it very quickly. So when it turns into a hostage situation, you get a negotiator, right? And that person starts making contact. All the while, you start building this like infrastructure, the assault force, you start pre-positioning assets. So if something happens, if that switch gets turned and that guy goes back to being an active shooter, everybody can go in at the same time. Or if another trigger is met, and there's lots of them, I'm not going to get into the tradecraft of the tactics of what those are that will initiate a direct action assault. They were positioning to go in there. When everybody looks at this timeline, they're like, well, what's happening? Well, it was bouncing between like, started as an active shooter, went into a hostage situation, and now they're positioning assets to go in and rescue people. And I get all of that, but as a father and somebody that owns a school, I don't care about any of that.
Yeah, fuck that. There's a woman who like got handcuffed, got out of the handcuffs, made her way into the school, got her 2 daughters out while cops were stacking on the door still.
Yeah, and there's a dude in a barber chair that is like, can I borrow your shotgun? My wife, who's a teacher here, says there's an active shooter, and then it goes in and skulls a dude.
Yeah.
This is the thing that people don't understand. If you're joining a direct action force, and law enforcement you can get shot in the face doing a fucking routine traffic stop. Every single fucking person you come into contact with, you should consider a member of your family. You should behave as if they were a member of your family, right? It's the end.
Right.
Nothing further.
So I'll tell you the call that I got, and then I want to hear your thoughts after it. So somebody who was one of the officers there had said they had thought the shooting had stopped, that the killing had stopped, and that possibly he had taken his own life, and they were helping getting kids out of the school. They did not realize this kid was locked in a utility closet with a metal door, and they didn't have enough or the proper shells to shoot through. I guess they're not issued or something. I don't care.
I give zero fucks. I will bury 25 cops before I bury a kid. When you raised your hand and you said, I'm going to protect and I'm going to serve, and that's it. That's the end. So you have acknowledged that you are going to put your life on the line, and nothing else matters. I don't care about your preferred tactic. I don't care if you didn't have the right equipment. I didn't care if you had enough people in your stack.
Because that was another one that was brought up, was that they only had, I guess, 4 officers there, because I guess it's
I'm not
really
waiting for one.
town.
I'm not waiting for one. Not for one. I said I'd high five and wait for Dan, and we're going to go in together. Nope. Man, I'll go in there singleton. I will die, and that dude will step over my dead body to go kill another kid if that's what he's going to try and do. But he's going to be dead.
Yeah.
Because like speed, surprise, violence of action, we're going to go in there. You're going to do the right thing. I'm going to take whatever risk I have to take for evil to conquer, it takes good men to do nothing. Like that is a perfect example of us not doing something, and then this is the consequence. It's like, what are we going to do? Like, we're going to harden schools. We're going to equip every single good person we can with a gun. We're going to address mental health. We're going to start attacking Hollywood for planting seeds that dehumanize and devalue human life. And then Americans are going to remember what it means to be American. And when somebody goes in to hurt an innocent, you're going to go cave that person. You're going to go put them in the dirt. Or like, you're going to go gas Jews? No, we're going to cross the ocean and we're going to kill all of you. You're like, oh, you're going to be, how many times in history we say, nope, that goes against the values we know to be true and right, and we're going to kill you.
Yeah.
That's it.
So everything that they did, don't give a shit, nothing else
I don't give a
whatsoever?
shit.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah.
When's the best time to go? Now. When's the next time the best time to go? Now. You know, if George and I go to fight, right? I hand him a knife, and
you guys will after the show.
I hope so.
Yeah.
In our courses, it is one of our mottos. When is the best time to go? It's now, because every moment that you wait is an advantage for your adversary.
Charlie's
right?
in the jungle getting stronger while I'm here in this hotel room getting weaker, right?
Yeah. When's the best time to go? It's now.
On the hill getting soft.
Yeah.
And you know, if you look at in a concealed carry, like fight for my life, mugging, attempted raping, like violent person, protector, I go to get my gun. Oh, you should already be going. I'm now clearing my garment. Oh, you should have been already gone. Now I get my weapon out. Like you're already behind the ball. Like every millisecond that you wait is just another millisecond that you're behind the curve, and it's going to be that much harder.
So saying an hour would be a long time to be behind the curve.
Yeah, bro.
The 12 minutes the motherfucker spent outside before he even made entry into the place is also a problem, right?
Yeah.
After shooting at the funeral home. What do you think of this fun op-ed from the Washington Post?
Throw it up on the screen there.
The brand of heroism that enables someone to advance on a gunman is more rare than Hollywood would have us believe.
Well,
The title.
let me be real clear about that. So the 82nd Airborne's got about 18,500 people. This is one of our infantry divisions, and about 5,000 of those are legit shooters.
Mhm.
That's 5,000 right there. So how rare is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's 5,000 out of one of the 10 major infantry divisions, and then about 3,000 or so per special forces group, and then some others. There's plenty of people out there that are fucking shooters.
About 100,000, you say, altogether?
I think there's about somewhere between 80 and 100,000 legit shooters in the country. Obviously, there's tiers of that, but
I don't know if you need a legit shooter. You know, it takes. When I was in Afghanistan, I watched this old man, and he was old. I mean, and I know Afghans age differently.
Yeah.
He's
probably 26.
Yeah, I don't know if he was 140, like he was just an internal, or if he was just like 50. I'm not sure, but he looked timeless. And as Taliban was cruising into this village, you know, he'd been like out playing with kids and other women and children that were in this village, and Taliban's cruising in. He takes like one of these late 1800 breech musket looking rifles, and he racks around and cracks one off, and the Taliban, like a fart in the wind, just disappeared. They literally ran. This guy was useless. He was old. He was so frail. Had I like touched him, he would have died. But he just had the will to resist. You know, just like the old woman in Ukraine walking up to those young Russian soldiers. Sometimes, like, yeah, it's awesome if these are these like tier 1 shooters that are going to go in and look so like they're right out of Jason Bourne as they kill the bad guy. Man, I would also just take Jose in Uvalde, Texas, driving down the road, saw some women screaming, running out of school, and be like, man, I'm just going to go in there and see what's going on. Right? I think about that little boy in New Mexico. He was like 17 years old when human traffickers tried to kidnap those little girls of the immigrant. He's a high school wrestler. He's a child. He's a 17-year-old child. And this felon goes to try and kidnap these 2 little kids. And this little high school wrestler is walking in, to get like some Cheetos or Doritos or something, right? And this human trafficker is trying to kidnap this little girl. And he picks this dude up, puts him on his ear, gets on top of him, and literally just sits on top of this like peak apex predator felon until the police arrived. Like, is he trained? No. Is he a shooter? No. Like, he had the will to not let something evil happen in front of him. And then he had zero fucks. Zero fucks.
Evil's a virus. It's a virus. It's all psychology is viral like that, and nothing spreads faster, and it goes both ways.
But that virus can only go into a host that's weak.
Certainly, yeah, that's correct.
What I'm asking for is Americans to be Americans again. Like,
there's got to be consequences. Like there has to be a standard and a consequence for not meeting it. And the standard is to be there when your neighbor needs you, right? And everything else is unacceptable, both your absence when they need you and your encroachment on their fucking liberty are both unacceptable and have to be met with an appropriate amount of force. If you're out there trying to harm other people, you got to get got. Somebody needs to fucking peel your wig back. You know, your brains need to be emptied out of your fucking head.
It's one of the things I love about Save Our Allies. You know, like we're not picking these fights. These things are just happening, and we're just not allowing evil to happen without us doing something. You know, like we're going, and I don't know where that went out of our society, where you see it on the subway all the time. And I just, my blood boils. I just watched this video of this young, attractive black woman on the subway. And she's sitting there minding her own business. And this criminal walks in, sits down next to her. And she got the like, uh-oh vibes. She goes to stand up and walk away. And this guy grabs her hair and he pulls her back down. And he leaves his hand.
I saw that video. Yeah.
He leaves his hand in her hair. And she starts quivering. She starts shaking. She starts crying. And do you know what everybody on that subway did? Not a goddamn thing.
They didn't
just
do anything.
fucking sat there.
Yep. Nobody did one single thing. I saw that video. It was fucking insane.
Dude, like, I can't watch that video.
I know.
You know, and I think about like my friends, had they been on that subway, and I think back to, I was in Paris for work, and there's some sketch areas of Paris, and me and a couple of my colleagues were working there, and we're there for like this foreign internal defense mission. And we're taking some public transit, and we're going through some sketch areas of town. And this young white woman gets on this bus, and some kind of radical-looking dudes, like a pack of hyenas, encircled her. Like they encroached in her space, and they like surrounded her. And like we're sitting in the back of the bus watching all this transpire, you know, and you could see the fear in her eyes, and you could see like her poor pale white French Parisian skin get completely ghost-like as she knew what was ahead of her at the next stop, and the next time that door opened and they left with her, like she knew what the rest of her night would be, which is probably like rape, maybe murder. Yeah. And like the three of us
in Paris, it's human trafficking.
Yeah.
Like you seriously,
yeah, for real.
If you're under like 25, you're gone.
And she was a 19-year-old, looks like Eastern European, like recent immigrant, and man, they were super excited for her to be on there. And then the three of us got up and circled them. You know,
how did that shake out?
Yeah, it was rad, right?
Well, that's the thing about people that prey on other people are weak. Like they don't ever come after dudes like us.
No.
You know, there's a reason for that. And
we didn't even have to do anything.
No, usually
she stood up, they stood up, we stood up, they looked at us, we looked at them, and they sat fucking down.
Yeah.
They put their little coward asses back in their seats as that girl got off. And you could just see like color come back, acknowledgement. Like she wanted to run and hug us. We're just like, we're just gonna hang out with these fellas. Yeah. You know, but it's so clear, and it isn't. I realized that was 3 trained men. It doesn't take that though.
But they didn't know that. No. All they knew was this 3 dudes that were willing to do something.
Correct.
Right? And to somebody like that, like they only prey on weak people because they're weak.